camera. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. And joining me on the show, we got FIFO 24/7 and Q, the sixth man, will be joining us shortly. But yeah, man, we just wanted to do a quick show tonight, so maybe spanning around 30, 40 minutes to kind of talk about the draft that's happening tomorrow and some of the trade activity that has taken place thus far. Tomorrow, though, you want to make sure you tune in. We will be covering at least the lottery picks live tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But tonight is just a preview, and there's been a lot of chatter and discussion in the group chat about some of the trades and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, we just wanted to get on here and do a quick conversation about that. Plus, you know, we regularly record on Tuesdays anyway, so we didn't want to leave you guys hanging. But FIFO, while we're waiting on Q to set up, what was one of the biggest trades that stood out to you?
I like the Drew Holiday, even though I know Q doesn't. He feels like it's a half-hearted move. Mm-hmm. It's not really a championship move. But here's the thing, right? Giannis is a two-time MVP now. Mm-hmm. Giannis is one of the top 5 best players in the NBA. But we still say he has room to grow. Mm-hmm. He has to take that next step. And that next step is being able to score in the half court with pressure. Drew is going to make that a little bit easier. So is Bogdanovich. Obviously, Bogdanovich is one of the best three-point shooters, keeps the floor space. Drew likes to boogie. He is the epitome of a combo guard. He's not just a point guard, even though he has playmaking ability. He's not really a two guard. He's a little shorter but strong as hell in stature. Extremely great wing defender. So it makes the team better. Now, I'm not saying that it makes them the favorite. No, I'm not saying that. But with Giannis taking that step that he has to take, right? Mm-hmm. He has to take that step. If he takes that step, this team is damn near, you know, it's a very tough out. Because even though he's not 50, 40, 90, like Malcolm Brogdon.
Stephen Brogdon, yeah.
But Drew is the closest thing that you can get in terms of a replacement. Mm-hmm. You know, and now you add Bogdanovich. I like what they did. I think the Lakers trade was very interesting.
For Schroeder.
For Schroeder, because it was a small move, right? Like it wasn't a big, super big name, but it adds the youth, but with experience for a roster that needed it. But it also kind of put the writing on the wall. Okay, Rondo ain't gonna come back. You know, and I think Schroeder could either start with this team or come off the bench, so I like that. But the biggest trade of them all, Ken. The biggest trade.
Lakers?
No, I'm getting to it. You know how to get the people a little bit of bread card, how to give them some appetizers.
Okay. Well, okay, go ahead and do that.
CP.
All right.
That's the biggest trade. That's the biggest trade. Because here's the thing. I'm watching, and a lot of people, they're not going to be a contender, this, that. No, they're not the favorite. Oh, but they could beat somebody in the first round of the playoffs. And they're definitely a playoff team. And I'm going to make a bold prediction. You know how it does. Booker is going to lead the league in scoring. He's going to lead the league in scoring.
You think CP3 is going to give him a couple of extra?
Oh, easy. And DeAndre Ayton? Oh, he going to look crazy. We're going to be like, oh, what was this guy? CP3 is going to unlock all of that. And I think people are really downplaying, and even Q. You know, is Q on?
Nah, he's not yet.
Okay. Because, you know what I mean? I got to talk to Q a little bit, man. But, like, it's not a big 3 because the other 2 really haven't proven it yet. But those 2 I believe in more than DeAndre and Blake Griffin. They're more legitimate. D-Book is the best 2 guard in the league. I don't care what nobody says. I've been saying that. D-Book is the best 2 guard in the league. DeAndre Ayton has the physicality to be a top 5 center in the league. And I think that CP is going to unlock that. He's going to get the easy lobs. You know what I'm saying? And then he has stuff that DeAndre Jordan did not. He has a face-up game. He has a jumper. You know what I'm saying? So CP is going to... Man, look, CP... Everybody done wrote CP off already. And we see what he did at OKC. Watch what he does in Phoenix. But that's the biggest move, CP.
Yeah, they said your mic was a little hot. So you guys let me know if I adjusted that. Like I said, it's a new setup as you guys can see, so we're still working through some kinks. But so we added mics this week. But here's what I want to know about the Lakers move. Is Rondo was a very, very intricate part. I could argue like a very key component to them winning a title last year. With his experience, the whole mantra of playoff Rondo. Schroeder can't do that.
Schroeder, I can't remember the stat verbatim, but if you look at Schroeder in clutch time, he was one of the most clutchest players this past season. Also, we know this in the NBA. It's about being a professional, right? And Schroeder's gonna close out a lot of games. Schroeder is not Rondo. I think Schroeder right now is better than Rondo, but he's not better than playoff Rondo. Playoff Rondo is a different animal.
Right.
So I give you that. But Schroeder does give him something that Rondo couldn't give him, and that's floor spacing. And we saw we already know Golden State. They done heard everything. Steph Curry is over here. He's sizzling. We saw in spurts last year, early in the season, where it's like, oh shit, like he didn't really lose and stuff. But then another game came and you saw the fatigue, and he just didn't have his NBA wind under him, his legs under him. But we saw moments. So you know that Steph is going to be A1 ready to go. Clay is a silent assassin. So those guys are going to be out here. You're going to have to be able to get buckets. And that's the one thing Rondo can't do is get his own buckets. And I think that's what Schroeder's going to give them. And they need that. They need that.
All right, so Q is joining us. I'm about to let him in now. There he is.
Q, man. Hey, man, we got to wrap real quick, bro.
Let's see if I can pan the video. Bam, got him pinned. Hold on, Q. Let me turn you up so we can hear you in here. All right.
Hold on, we can't just hear you just yet.
So say something, brother. We still can't hear you. Hold on.
Yo.
There you go.
Hello, yo. 1, 2, 3. Microphone check.
Yeah, we got you. In the dark as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. I got you. What's good, brother?
Oh, you went silent again.
Oh, did I turn it out? Q.
Yo, what's good?
Okay, there you go. So yeah,
we got to wrap, Q. We got to wrap.
What's going on?
We got to come to terms, man.
What's going on?
All right. First off, what'd you say about when I said the big three over there in Phoenix? What'd you call them?
Oh, that was more so schmedium, man.
You know what? They schmedium now. They schmedium now, but they're going to grow to a big three before the end of the season, going into the playoffs. Because here's the thing, and the people already said it, but you just came on right now. CP is going to unlock D-Book. I said D-Book is going to win the scoring title next season.
That's a fact.
DeAndre Ayton is going to be an all-star.
It's debatable, but I can see it.
And we saw what CP did for Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan is literally half the player of DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre got a face-up game, could shoot free throws, so you could play him throughout the game. 15, 18-footer, back to the basket game. Obviously could play pick and roll with CP and or Devin Booker. We already know D-Book and CP what that's going to be. That's going to be one of the best backcourts in the NBA. But when we're talking about the big man, little man, yeah, today, right now, because they haven't played, you know what I'm saying? I'll definitely give you, I'll give you schmedium. But that's really going to be a big three before the end of the season, dog.
For sure, man. I mean, I think that Phoenix is going to be in a position where they have one of the brightest young cores in the NBA at this point, where you have, I think, they just shipped off Oubre and them, but Tyler Johnson, I'm pretty sure he's there. Cameron Johnson, whatever his name is. Mikal Bridges. I'm looking at the supporting cast, which is going to make them probably in contention for that 6th seed, probably. And CP going there is going to add that structure that shit like you're talking about. I just need to see Aiden do it again one more time before I jump on. And then I need to see how D Book handles not having the ball in his hand. I know that they did that more this season with Rubio, but CP is a different animal in terms of demanding a certain accountability on defense that I don't think Rubio can have with a guy like D Book because he's so talented. But it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of just the pick and roll and just how D Book plays off ball. Because if he's gonna, you know what I'm saying?
But that's the beautiful thing about CP is that he elevates everybody because that level of accountability that you're talking about is not just on the offensive end, it's on the defensive end, and that's huge for this team because D Book, he's not James Harden on defense, we know that, but he's not Bradley Beal either. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with CP there, he could become more Bradley Beal on defense. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm super excited. Here's the thing. Part of that trade, obviously, you always got to give up something to get something. And I would have liked to have kept Kelly Oubre. Athletic wing, 3-4, lefty. When you a lefty, it's a little bit different. Super athletic. He's starting to finally come into his own. I wish that they could have kept him. But you got to do what you got to do, and it's for the greater good. I take CP for Kelly Oubre all day, and I think he say the same. But with that being said, I love it for OKC.
My bad, y'all.
I love it for OKC because with that.
Hold on. I'm too hot over here. Let me turn mine down. Oh. Try now.
I love it for OKC because now that's just another asset that they're going to move. Did you know that they have no less than 3 first-round picks in every draft for the next 5 years? No less.
16 draft picks, I think, in the next 8 drafts. It's really impressive. But it shows, man. Look, everyone thought that Presti was the dumb GM who just lucked himself into, and you have to have a little bit of luck. But taking Durant, taking Westbrook, Harden, and drafting 3 MVPs, that has to be taken into account with just knowing guys who can ball. And the acquisition of being able to flip PG for Shea Gilgeous, for Gallinari, and now to have those as viable, not only trade options, but sometimes you can, actually grow these talents that he's gotten. And now you have more draft picks, which only bodes well for their future. And they have the ability to take on more contracts, and they can go whatever way they want. They have flexibility.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's the beautiful thing, man. And that's why, Ken, you need to jump in because you was always being mad disrespectful to my guy Sam Presti. And look at everything that he was able to accomplish because he didn't quote unquote tank. CP didn't allow that. That's how the greatness of CP, but also the greatness of Sam Presti and bringing in guys like Shea Gilgeous. You know what I'm saying? And having a core piece moving forward, even though we've taken on the CPs of the world, the Nilo Gallinaris of the world, and those other guys as well, the Schroeders of the world, and being able to now move those guys for other things. Like, Ken, are you willing to eat your words regarding Sam Presti?
All right, so let me mute the TV and turn my mic back up so I don't blow people's ears out. It's a good recovery.
Oh my God! Recovery, okay.
Yeah, it's a good recovery, man. I think I'm gonna give him his props. I think to take what was a horrible situation and to flip it for as many assets as he has, and now we've seen talent with Shy and all those other guys. It's a marvelous job. I gotta give him his props. I give him his props. Man.
Finding guys like.
But I'm saying, where was it that you didn't give him his props? Because he did draft 3 MVPs, made it to Western Conference Finals, moved on from guys maybe too early, whatever, what have you. Still maintained a playoff roster even with a diminished talent base. Still flipped for Oladipo, still flipped for Paul George, then flipped them all for what he has now. Plus, like, where in that process was he messing up?
So they saying my mic isn't on now. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Basically, I just gave him props, but look, like I said, man, I think. I think where I gave him, I can't even remember what my criticism was, honestly. To be honest, like where it started from. I do know that I felt like he was kind of overrated, and I think it was centered.
You felt when having KD and Harden, how did all of that get disbanded? And you said that had to fall on the laps of the GM as well.
Yeah, and this look, my mic's it's not that my mic is loud; it's just I'm loud. But this is why we need people behind the scenes so I can focus on the show and we can get people to kind of do this stuff. But nevertheless, I think it was the trade for Oladipo and then Westbrook. It was Paul George. I think it was the Paul George trade that kind of made me start to reevaluate what they were doing with their franchise because they got stagnant and wasn't able to really go anywhere. But I think now, given what he's managed to do, I think this recovery process so far has been good in terms of moving these pieces for assets. Now, the drafting part, we'll have to see, but being able to come out of that dire situation to give yourself a shot moving forward, I think I got to give him props. It's a true move. He did a good job. Q, what do you think of some of the trades that took place? And I'm about to turn you back up. But what do you think about, so we can hear you, what do you think about some of the trades that took place? The Lakers trade, and I know we were talking about CP3. Did we get your thoughts on the Bucks trade?
I've been saying that I think the Bucks trades for Bogdanovich and Drew Holiday have both been upgrades, but relatively I view them as still lateral moves in terms of being able to retain Giannis. I don't think that these are world shifting. I think that you can make the case that, yes, Drew Holiday is a much better defender. I've made the case that he is the best two-way guard in the NBA for the last 4 or 5 seasons, and it's not really that close because you look at his performance on Dame Dollar in the playoffs and switching on to not just guys like KD, but shutting down guys, LeBron. He's taken that assignment and been a proven factor in plus minus every single time. So I'm not saying that this is a meh move by any means, but in terms of is this going to scare Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving if they're healthy and playing? I don't think that does anything. I don't think that this really necessarily scares Miami. I don't think that this necessarily also proves that Giannis is going to stay, because I still think that this is not a young star beside him. This is not a Beal move. This is not like a Zach LaVine coming along with the Drew Holiday. These are lateral moves.
Though, right? We get, or I don't, right? Because I speak truth. But a lot of people give Giannis the praise of the second coming, the best player in the NBA, right? LeBron did more with less than what Giannis even has now. And if you are going to be that guy that we are saying is the greatest in the game, these players are good enough to get it done. I agree with you 100%. It's not Zach LaVine. It's not Bradley Beal. It's not CP. It's not a grade 1A level type player. I agree with that. But these are iPhone 12s. They ain't 12 Pros. But it's damn good enough, bruh. It's damn good enough. And with that being said, look, you jettisoned Eric Bledsoe. He out of here now. He been a problem. That's a major upgrade. Bogdanovich is one of the premier shooters. You can't leave this guy. When you play you can't. Everybody can do switching, and you got to be right here, bro. Hey, bro, I just got to guard you, bro. I can't even let you do nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shooter he is. So with Giannis making the jump that he's supposed to make, I don't care what nobody says out here. I know I'm the one media pundit that has been 1,000,000% right on Giannis. He's a full court player. He's not a half court player. That's the last step. Shooting too, but if you have a half court game, but you got the rest of that around you, the 3-point shot ain't that big of a damn deal. You got to have 15 to 18 foot, but he has to play a half court game. He plays a half court game with these upgrades around him. He should be able to compete with any team in the NBA. I didn't say be the favorite, but he should be able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, walk through them, because that's the type of player he's supposed to be. And he's supposed to get to that Eastern Conference Final. Hey, Q's trying to talk. Get to that Eastern Conference Final, and then get to that Western Conference, and let's see you boogie, bro. Let's see you boogie.
And that is where I say lateral, because you're pointing to a barometer that I don't believe that this gets them to in a lot of ways, man. I really don't think that asking Drew Holiday to be the two-way guy that we know we need him to be. Who else is playing defense on that team besides him, Giannis? You got Middleton that he holds his own. We're asking Drew to get 19, 20 points along with that. Like, come on now.
But Q, how many teams have 5 lockdown guys? Nobody has 5 lockdown guys.
That's true.
Right? So you need guys that can defend their position. Chris Middleton is not a, grade A1 level defender, but he could guard his guy. You don't always got to help him.
For sure. And you need team, Steph, like, for himself. Like, Steph is a team defender. He's not by any point a individual, like, on ball. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that if we're saying that the Bucks are gonna be better than what they were this year, for sure, I'll probably say they'll be better. But are we saying finals or bust is the barometer? Then it is a lateral move. You know what I mean?
Okay, so when and I agree with you. I don't agree with you. When we're grading it, right, a lateral move means that it's the same type of guy, right? And it's not. They are upgrades. Bogdanovich is a top 5% 3-point shooter in the NBA. That's a big deal. Drew Holiday, like you said, arguably the best two-way guard, right? The epitome of a combo guard. Play makes, but isn't CP. Isn't even really Russell Westbrook in terms of playmaking, but gets the job done, get you 3 to 7 assists a game, get you 18 to 20 some points, a game. And then he could guard 1 through 3, some 4s when they go small ball.
That's a fact. My only, and this is not even really like an issue with your argument, because you're really like in tune with what I understand to have taken place, the reason why they did this trade. But the reason why I think it might be desperation from the Bucks, man, is because you're asking Drew Holiday to be that two-way guy, right? Along with being the creator that Giannis cannot be in the half court. And I don't know if that's going to be it. You know what I mean?
Beautiful thing is because Giannis's game mirrors a lot of LeBron, right? Let's just be just a longer, thinner, slightly less as strong version of Bron without a jump shot just yet. Doesn't have the natural, feel and IQ to make the pass, but you see he's a playmaker as well. Because it's by committee, that's why I'm cool with it being Drew. Right? Like for any other team, it doesn't work. But if you have a point forward like that, you don't need a pure point guard either. But here's the thing, Q. The biggest difference in how we're assessing this, and maybe we're saying the same thing, but just saying it differently. The difference is Giannis. It's not the players.
Yeah.
Right? The difference is Giannis. The players are slightly better. They're not world beaters, just a little bit better. And being a little bit better is good enough if Giannis takes that step. And that's the only point I'm making. This is still on Giannis. It's not on – the organization did as much as it possibly could based upon the limitations that it has. Salary cap, contracts, market. It is what it is. This is the best that they can do for right now, right? Look, we're showing you we're willing to shake it up. What we had wasn't good enough. This is slightly better. But it's also on you. We're paying you the supermax to be the best version of you, and you not the best version of you yet.
Man, a lot of people are not, in tune with the fact, but perhaps not the fact, but the possibility. The possibility that Giannis might be, and this is not at all a slight, he might be 08, 09 Dwight Howard, where he might be that guy in that offense of he needs shooters around him. And we're seeing now that people are trying to force him into the Bron, into the Kobe, into the, being in that lineage of guys. And I don't think he might not be that guy. He might just be Dwight, where he needs his Turgaloo. He needs his, Pietrus. He needs his, bench of shooters. He needs his Jameer Nelson. My only issue is that people are forcing this narrative, and you're not one of the people doing it, but the people who are forcing this narrative are neglecting the fact that Drew has 2-3 years left on his contract. He's 30 years old right now. And if you're Giannis and you're looking down at a place like Miami, just off of the living, just off of the coach, just off of the prestige, off the young talent, you're looking at it like, man, okay. And then you look over Southwest, you say, man, Luka and me, and if Porzingis is good, and man, they got some cap space down there. They are you telling me that this is going to pull Giannis any further than what he was already thinking? Well, he's already having the conversations with Pat Riley. We already know how they get down. You already know how it is in Miami. So it's like, come on now, is this moving the needle that much for them? It reeks of desperation, in my opinion. But they had to be. I get it.
It's part of the position that, as an organization that has a superstar player that you've done an okay job building around, but not an amazing job building around. This is the position that you put yourself in, because the difference in how you truly build a team versus a hodgepodge mix is the draft. Because just because you draft Joel Embiid, just because you draft Shaq, just because you draft MJ, doesn't mean that you're going to be competing for the championship the first year. You're still going to be ass, and you still got to go draft your Scottie Pippens and your Pennies. You know what I'm saying? You still got to draft those guys when you're bad and let them grow and sizzle and simmer together. And then what it tastes like 3-4 years from now, it smells like a championship. It may not taste like it just yet, but that thing smell damn good. Then you go get you your free agent Horace Grants out of here. You know what I'm saying? You go get you your Rick Foxes and guys like that. Guys that it smell like it, but that seasoning you just added, that thing tastes like it now. Now we could go to the cook-off. You know what I'm saying? And that's the progression. So the Bucks were herky-jerky with that. Giannis wasn't great at first. People questioned them even taking Giannis where they took him at first. So you were still bad. You could have drafted better. You could have had 1 or 2 guys that you still had right now. You're paying 3 max contracts instead of just 1. They got 2 with Chris Middleton, and they overpaid him. They drafted him. But, it is what it is. But that's just the position that they're in now. But, a team that you mentioned, and I kind of looked at Ken, and I was like, ooh, Dallas? That's not even fair. Because you talking about 6'9" point guard, you talking about a 7'1" 4-man, and then a 7-foot 3-man? And they all could pass, dribble, and 2 of them out of the 3 could shoot?
And it works. And you got Carlisle, too, still a top, I say 6-7 coach in the NBA, just off of his ability to compete. You would have to take into account the fact that Giannis and Porzingis can share the floor. like Porzingis can step out there. Luka's step back, he stepped back near the logo. And that's what I'm saying. They have the room and they have the position and that Carlisle finds those Euro guys. They find those G League guys. And they don't need to have, this separates the better organizations from the pretty cool organizations versus from the bad ones. And, you see the Milwaukee Bucks as an organization that is reactionary. They're not progressive enough to see that, Brogdon is the one we keep. We need to let Bledsoe go. That shot them in the foot, and now we're having this conversation of you have a 30-year-old point guard who you're banking on to keep your 25-year-old superstar. All right, we'll see how it goes. I don't think it's the move they think it is.
And I agree with you. Right, I 100% agree with you. But at the end of the day, it was the best move they could have made in the situation that they're in, right? And it's a slight, like I said, you might have had, for all my Apple users, you might have had an iPhone 11 Pro. Do you need the 12 or the 12 Pro? It's an upgrade. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't get the Pro. Your money funny, this, that, and the third. You ain't get insurance on your last joint. You gonna get the iPhone 12 and you gonna be happy. It's a nice upgrade. It do a little bit better than what your last phone did, but it ain't all the bells and whistles, But again, it's still on Giannis, and I think that any great player wants to have that on them to be like, okay, I'm the reason why. Because sometimes when you add those names, it becomes, oh well, whose team is it? Well, can Giannis do? So it's still, bro, it's still your show. If you perform, can't nobody say nothing. But you win a chip, it's on Giannis.
All right, let's do I guess draft predictions, and then we'll close out. We got another recording we got to do. So I guess top 5. I guess I'll start with you, FIFO. Who you got going 5?
Man, going number 1 to Minnesota, in my opinion. So I'm gonna be just the GM of the top 5 teams, right? I'm taking Anthony Edwards because nobody. First of all, Wiseman and Karl Anthony Towns is nice, but this is a guard. It's still a perimeter league, and I would rather have at least one big that's really good and 2 smaller guys that are really as good, if not better than him. So to me, Anthony Edwards fits because he's your prototypical 2 guard. He can play off the ball. He has the size. Could play 1, 2, and 3 defensively. Could play 1, 2, and 3 offensively. Can finish. D'Angelo Russell is a scoring point guard with vision. Cat, we know what he is, but I think Anthony Edwards as that is even more dynamic than the both of those guys. So I like that for the number 1 pick if I'm Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I basically echo the exact same sentiment. Anthony Edwards, to me, out of Georgia, we see the same type of intangibles from a couple other guys in this draft in terms of athleticism. But what separates him to me is like the awareness, and what separates that also is his shot creation. I think that you can look at those 2 abilities, and those type of players always have the opportunity to excel when placed in the right situation. Put him next to a more tentative guard like Russell. If they could use Russell more so how they used him at Ohio State, as opposed to how they were trying to use him in, I think, Brooklyn, I think that we could see Anthony Edwards actually on the fast track to be one of the better 2 guards in the NBA. 'Cause I think that his shot will get better. So, yeah, I'll say Anthony Edwards also. For number 2, we're talking about the Warriors. I really think the Warriors will go Wiseman, man. I think they just have to at this point. I think that even if it's to flip at the deadline or I don't know, whatever they're trying to do, the Warriors are they're way too quiet. They're way too quiet, so they're working on something right now. But assuming that everyone keeps their picks, I think that Wiseman will be the guy. High motor, big. I think that perhaps there's some flashes there for offensive upside as well within his workouts. The ability to show some range on long 2s could be worked on with a team and a coaching staff led by Steve Kerr. So I would appreciate that pick probably at 2, and I think that will be the pick.
Yep. FIFO, who you got for the second pick?
Yeah, 100%. Everything Q said. I think this is Bosch 2.0. I think it's Bosch on steroids. Literally, and you look at him. Look, when you look at some of the big men that have come in the last 10, 15 years in the NBA, if you want to know the level of physicality these guys bring to the table, look at their shoulders. This guy has massive he is going to be able to pack on muscle. He's going to be one of the strongest, most physically dominant guys in the NBA with touch. And I think that's one of the things that I look for, especially with big men. What does it look like when you get a rebound and you put the ball back up? Does it off the rim, and he has that. When you throw him the ball, how does he catch it? Does the ball bounce off, or does it's like a mitten? And he has mittens. You know what I'm saying? So I really like Wiseman there, and it's not just for the offensive; it's for the defensive, and even on top of all of that, he fits. I think he fits personality wise. I think he fits stylistically. I think he fits physically. I think that this guy is one of those guys that, it's kind of like when David Robinson went down and the Spurs were able to draft Tim Duncan, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you got something crazy. But hold on, Q, because I'm not going to be able to hear you. Ken got to do something. He got to come back. I can't hear you at all. I can't hear you at all. But yeah, man, Wiseman, he's nice. He's nice. Q I can't hear him.
Okay.
Ken over here pulling double duty, man. Hey, we need a staff, man.
No, facts. No, I was saying he's like the luxury Azili for them, where it's like, the rim running, the blocking shots, the pick and roll, just the screen game that he's gonna be able to provide for them is gonna be insane.
You watch ESPN, the intimate idea or creativity of how things are gonna work out, they don't see it like that, right? Like they just watch it as fans. They don't understand the X's and O's of basketball. And when I think of the Warriors with Wiseman, bro, like you could literally run pick and roll with him and Draymond and put Clay and Steph in opposite corners. What are you like? You can't help. What are you? The floor is wide open. What are you gonna do? You can't do nothing
Wiggins
with that.
in the dunker spot. With Wiggins in the dunker spot, like that, like it's like, you know what I mean. Like they have options if they even keep Wiggins. You know what I mean. They could mess around, get Hayward. You know what I mean. And it's like we're talking about a whole other team with just multiple ball handlers, and this would be a great pickup for the Warriors.
All right, so number 3. Who you got going third?
Who's going third again?
Did you do that one already?
No. Who's
Okay.
going third? We just did the top
Charlotte.
two. What team is going third?
Q.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte. This is a tough pick. This is a tough pick. Mainly because, in my opinion, the third best guy in this draft is LaMelo, and he will fill seats. But I don't know how that works with everything else that they already have on the roster. And it's just so much redundancy, and there's no clear-cut direction with this pick. So I don't know. Who you got, Q? Who you got? I'm going to pass it to you.
I had a couple options here because it's really hard to even gauge this one because you have Terry Rozier, you have what is his name? You have Terry Rozier, you have the Devontae Graham, and if you go with all right, let's go for the we have another one. What is his name? But Charlotte fans kill me, but all two of y'all will have to forgive me at some point. But it's just like at the end of the day, I think that they will probably end up going LaMelo. They're probably gonna have to find a home for Rozier, but I think that Jordan will either embrace that. Monk, him too. I mean, I don't know. He look like he's about to be a G League guy, but we'll see, man. But I'm going probably just with LaMelo simply off of the fact that they're probably gonna have to move some of those guards. I think that unless Jordan trades for Russ, they will go young talent here because you can't really pass up on that type of passing ability. LaMelo definitely has his flaws in terms of base, in terms of shooting and all that. I think it could be worked on.
So, going slightly different, right, and going a little bit back to what we was talking about. So you think Houston moves Russ for the number 3 pick in this draft?
I think they definitely could. I think that they definitely could. I think that you could see. I mean, Jordan doesn't seem like he's the type to really care about the draft like that. Like he falls in love with certain prospects in terms of like Wiseman from what we're, yeah, but Monk, he loves Malik Monk when he saw him, and guys like Miles Bridges, and I think that if he's willing to take on Russ's contract and think, all right, we're gonna be in contention for the eighth seed. We're gonna have a Jordan Brand guy here. I can make this a big deal. Let's just plunge on it. If they want the third pick, take it. I think that Jordan might just be in that mindset after a while, looking at his prospects. If he's not absolutely in love with LaMelo, that is, you know what I mean?
No, and so okay, so let's just say Houston picks at number 3. Do you take LaMelo?
You got to take whoever James Harden wants. If he, on some LeBron Shabazz type stuff, you know what I mean? Who do you want?
But here's the thing: I think if I'm Houston, I'm trading James Harden too.
I mean, you're gonna have to because the players run the league at this point where there is no more. Okay, well, James asked for a trade and we're gonna keep him. AD asked for a trade and within a calendar year he was gone because that's how it's gonna work. Once you announce it to the rest of the market, everyone else sees that as like, I'm not about to trade you my best assets. They don't want to be there. So now you have put the player in the power positions now, where the guys run the league see it. So Daryl Morey, he's rubbing his hands. Brooklyn GM is rubbing his hands, and now Houston, they are in a position of weakness where you have a first-year head coach, you have 2 superstars in turmoil, you have an owner who is confused about the track that your organization is supposed to be going on, and now you want to ask for premium on those distressed assets? That's not how this goes. Ask Kyrie what they got from him. That's not how any of this goes.
All right. Well, while we're still on UQ, what about number 4? Who you got?
Who goes number 4? Because I'm on my mock. I have Killian Hayes going there.
You got him going that high?
Yeah, I really do. Killian Hayes, man. I think that Killian Hayes is one of the steals of the draft. I don't know if they're gonna keep guys like Zach LaVine and Kobe White on the team. Chicago fans can let me know, but I think that Dallas has reached out about Zach LaVine in some capacity. I don't know if Kobe White is necessarily a point guard of the future for Chicago, but I think a guy like Hayes with his upside and marketing seems to be the favorite in that organization. Then him and Billy Donovan, that's exactly the type of point guard that he can mold into being almost an extension of him on the floor, obviously, for his position. But him being long at 6'5", yeah, I really like his intangibles too. Really good passer, knows how to move without the ball, and plays good on-ball defense.
So I'm gonna go opposite of Q. I think that they keep LaVine. I don't think they trade LaVine. I think Laurie is the favorite. I think Kobe White is a point guard of the future. He just wasn't consistent, but he had a lot of flashes and outbursts. Like, more than flashes, he had outbursts last year. He could shoot, which is obviously at a premium in this league, and he could defend the position, which is the other premium in this league. And I think you take Danny. Advigia, something like that, the 6'9" guy that can do it all. Because again, positionless basketball. When you look at Kobe White, he could play the 1 and the 2. Obviously, they got Zach LaVine, their best player. I think he was a top 10 scorer last year. I think he averaged like 25, 26 a game. And I only see that getting better, even being more consistent. Laurie Marketing, right, at your 4. And they have one of the bigs. They have a young big, too. I can't think of his name. Oh, man, I like him. And he's a good defender. He can shoot the 3. He came in the same draft as the big man that's in Memphis.
I know you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about. But when people do this, it makes me forget. Oh my goodness, Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter, and
yeah.
I really like Wendell Carter. So you put Danny Danny, and you put him on that roster. Bro, now you have a 6'9" guy. handle, penetrate, create his own shot, other shots for everybody else. Now you really have a positionless basketball team, and I think that that's dangerous. I think the biggest thing is, did they get the right coach? That's the question mark. But I think that's who you go with at number 4.
All right, last one, and then we'll close it out. 5. What you got? You got
Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin. I think you got to move on from Larry Nance. Tristan, is he a free agent or is he still on the roster? Is he still under contract? Free agent. Okay, cool. Trade Kevin Love. Like any big that's on this roster, move on from, because they got LeBron remnants all over them, and you need to start fresh. Anybody that was affiliated with LeBron, out. Sorry, just how the cookie crumble right now. And I think Obi Toppin, he already played in a small market right down the road, and I think that in this league, you need guys in that 6'9" to 6'11" size frame that could do a little bit of everything, and that's what Obi could do. Obi could grab a rebound, push it. He no look pass to you. He finish the alley oop, give it up to the point guard, get it back, finish he plays that type of game. And with so many guards already on that roster, Darius Garland, Porter, young bull from out here in Atlanta. I'm bad with names.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
With him, you put an Obi Toppin with that. That looks okay. There's a direction. Even y'all got a little bit too many guards, but there's now this guy complements what all these other guys on the perimeter does. So Obi Toppin is the guy for me.
I would say that the Cavaliers I think Onyeka Okongwu is where they're gonna go here at number 5. I think that they're gonna go center. Yeah, they're gonna go for the potential. They're going for the Bam upside. I think that we're gonna see that, because they I don't know if they still have Kevin Porter Jr., but Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah, I think that he's definitely an asset of the future. I like guys like Nance. I still think that they're gonna trade guys like Nance, but you need to probably move on, get a prospect that you can go for the fences with. You know what I mean? You need a draw. You need something that's gonna, eventually meld into a young core. Because Cleveland is all over the place. They got guards galore, they got forwards, and they got big man galore. And it's like you need to start to clear this deck and start to shave down this organization to, all right, what are we going to build with? What is our foundation going to start from? And what is the trajectory we want to be on? I think that you have to do that with the anchor on defense, like an Okongwu, and a prospect like him.
Well, Q, man, thanks for coming through today to talk about this and talk about the trades. Really appreciate it, brother.
For sure, man. Always.
All right, well, thank you guys for showing up. Again, this was a shorter show tonight, but tomorrow we will be back to cover the draft live. So tune in. I think the draft starts at 7 FIFO.
Yep.
Okay. As you guys can see in the back, we're about to record another show, frames per second. That's Nick back there. But anyway, we thank you guys for showing up. And we're going to work out some of the kinks, but, the audio wasn't great last week, so we got a little bit of audio here today, so we just got to work out some internal sound monitoring things here, and that's it. But, again, that's going to do it for us, man. I'm sorry I couldn't get to any of the questions, but bring them all tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow we're doing the draft live. Tune in. Be here, all right? We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Word. Nah, FIFA. I think it's gonna be up, man. It's about to be up for